Stop wasting your hard-earned money gambling on packs. Check out my sponsor MMOEXP to buy the absolute cheapest, most reliable Mutt coins and use my code Kinney for 5% off your order. Man, that's hot. Good morning, guys. Welcome back to another video. It's Monday. We got some things to talk about. We got a new series coming up. That means power-ups have a good chance in going up in price. As the level cap increases, we get new power-up passes. It's a good opportunity to make some coins. So today we're gonna be talking about which power-ups you might want to consider investing in before the next series comes. Without further ado, let's get in the video. What's going on, guys? My name is Kinross. On YouTube I go by Kenny Games. Welcome back to another video, guys. Like I said in the intro, we're gonna be talking about some power-ups that I'm investing in right now before we get to Series 4. We know Series 4 was released around this time last year, right before the Zero Chill or Christmas or winter promo, so that's what we're planning on coming up next. There are always some things that I do to prepare. I'm gonna put a couple of those tips at the end of this video, so make sure you watch to the end to see those tips. First, though, we have 5 power-ups that I'm investing in right now that I recommend you consider. Disclaimer, guys, investments always come with risk. There is always risk in investments. There's a good chance some of these or all of them don't pay off. You lose coins. It's always a possibility. It's kind of the game you play with investments. It's a total gamble. I just want you to know that there's an opportunity to lose coins here, though. This is not guaranteed. But with that being said, let's get into the first card. So since we plan on this being a 93 to 94 overall power-up pass, the first card we're gonna be looking at is actually Shaquille Griffin. Now, currently he's going for about 18 to 20,000 coins. You can pick these off for anywhere from like 12 to 15K if you're patient on it. I've just been looking at this and knowing that his cornerback card is one of the better ones in the game. It's one of the faster cards. It's one of the most sought after cards, but it's also one of the most expensive because not only is it a heavily sought after card, it's a limited card, and limiteds are expensive, man, especially when they're good cornerbacks, good power positions like a cornerback. And so Shaq Griffin is definitely a card that I'm investing in. I'm not buying these for like 20, 25K. I'm trying to snipe them a little bit lower, around 15. If I can find them for 15 and below, I'll pick them off. Also, I'm not going into any of these too heavily. I'm not buying more than like 3 or 4 because I like to play a little bit of a game here, but I'm not going to risk my entire binder, my entire coin stack for these cards. So do with that information as you will. But Shaq Griffin for around, 15, 12K or so, I think is a fantastic investment opportunity. The next card we're going to go after, or at least the card that I'm going after, is actually Deforest Buckner. Now, we know he just got a limited through the Blitz promo. His card is actually really, really good, and the limited is still fairly expensive because it's a limited card. Whenever you have a limited card, you're just guaranteed pretty much for that card to go up as long as it's limited until it hits Redux. So for this one, I do think that he's going to continue being expensive, and also his power up is very cheap, which I think is a good sign, but the supply isn't crazy high. There's not 50 of these up. There's not 100 of these up. There's kind of just like, what, 11 of these up right now. And throughout the day, when you check back and forth, there's really not that many up. So if you can find a couple of these for like 2,000 coins, 1,000 coins, you're really not risking much, which is what I really like about this. And you have some opportunity for it to pay off because he's one of the better defensive tackle cards in the game. So it gives you great opportunity to really make a lot of coins here without putting too much on the line. Some of these other cards are a little bit more costly of investments, so you have a lot more risk on the line. This one is probably the one today where you don't have to worry about losing too much, as long as you don't go in too heavily, of course, but you don't have to worry about losing too much if you're buying a couple of these at like 2,000 coins or so. If you lose 10,000, what's really the big deal? If you lose 100,000, that's where it gets risky. So I'm picking up myself a few Deforest Buckners. I do think his card's pretty good. It'll be pretty sought after. So the third of the 5 cards that we're going after today is actually Kyler Murray. Now, his card obviously is much more expensive. I am not buying this card for 66,000 coins. That is way overpriced for an investment, and you have way too much at risk there. I'm trying to find these for under 50K or around. People do put them up for pretty low prices. You just got to be patient with it if you really want to try to get into this. Don't buy this for this many coins, but I do think it's a really interesting investment because Kyler is such a big name in this game. People love to watch him on TV. They want to put him on their teams. He's fast. He's got great throw power. It's overall a great card. His blitz card is fantastic. And again, it's another limited, just like Deforest Buckner, that people want. So even more so than Deforest Buckner, people really want this card. And so when we get the ability to use a power-up pass, people have been really stuck with like Josh Allen, or some even with like Lamar Jackson or Randall Cunningham. People want to change their quarterback. It's a position they want to change the most. Kyler Murray is definitely a good option for that. So I'd recommend keeping an eye on Kyler Murray power-ups. See how the price fluctuates over the next week or so. I do predict the next series to start around the 18th. It would just be a Friday. It would make sense. As far as timeline compared to last year with the next promo coming, that's just my speculation is when it will start. So keep an eye on his power up. It'll fluctuate up and down. The supply is very low, so that actually helps as far as power up investments when supply is very low. So there's really good opportunity here. There's just a lot of risk if you're buying it for 66,000 coins. To try to find them a little lower, I've picked off one or two of them around like 48,000, and I'm comfortable with that. I understand it's a big risk. I understand I can lose coins, but to me, Kyler seems like a very intriguing investment. So definitely something to keep your eye on. I wouldn't go all in on this one, but Kyler's a good card, good player, and people want to use him. So keep an eye on it. The fourth card that we are looking at today is actually Tyree Kill. And Tyree Kill, his blitz card, you guys know, it's literally the best card in the game, especially on next gen. It's so far and away the best card in the game. It's not even funny. So keeping that into consideration on top of the fact that you can't make Tyree Kill anymore using the blitz bolts or blitz tickets or whatever they were, just makes for a really prime opportunity here. Obviously, when Tyree got announced, his price went down. So if you were to snag a couple for like 15,000 when it was that, then kudos to you, man, because you're sitting in a great spot. I've snagged a couple. I'm still sitting on a couple from when I held from last time. I'm not buying these for like 35,000, 40,000. If I find them for like 20, 25K, I'll buy one or two. I think I have like 5 or 6 in my binder right now. This is a good opportunity again. Thing about Tyreek is in the beginning of the year, if you remember, everyone was using their power up passes on Tyree Kill because he was the fastest card in the game, and his power up was over like 150, 200K. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity here. The supply is low, which also helps. I'm just a little nervous about Tyreek because there's so much hype around him. Everyone always talks about Tyreek. I think that can always kind of backfire. We saw that when the Blitz card got announced, but of course, Blitz kind of acted as a limited card because there's only so much in stock. And since the promo is over, people can't create any more of him. So there is a limited supply of that, which does help his value. Obviously, supply and demand, basic economics. You guys understand this. I've explained it in a video before. So if you can pick these off for a decently good rate, I wouldn't buy them for over 30,000. I probably wouldn't buy them for over like 25,000. So if you can find them for a little bit lower than that, I'd say go ahead and invest in a couple, but it's totally up to you. I think this is probably one of the bigger risks ones, as we've seen how Tyreek has dropped in the past when on being announced, and just something to consider. But I mean, you did see that this one got bought for 35,000. So there's definitely still a lot of interest, and people will want this card. It's just a matter of what is the supply like. Are there still people that are holding their investment from last time, which could definitely play a factor into whether his price goes up or down. Just something that we'll have to see, but it's a card that I'm eyeing and still investing in. The last card that I am investing in is actually Night Train Lane. He's still a 94 overall cornerback. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the game. He's actually very, very good against the run because he's very physical as a cornerback. And as we move into next gen, we see that hit power is starting to matter a little bit more. Fumbles actually happen. People are going to care about hit power. So I think there's good opportunity for Night Train Lane. Again, because people had to do his set in order to get his card, his value is very low. You can also look at picking off cards to do that set. That's actually a decent coin making method right now, but I might make a video on that more specifically. Keep an eye on Night Train. I think there's great opportunity there, so keep it into consideration. Again, very physical corner. He's a high overall corner. He's still one of the better corners, one of the faster corners. I think Night Train Lane is definitely a good opportunity for investment. But that's gonna wrap it up for the 5 cards. I do have a couple things I want to go over with you guys as far as preparing for Series 4 right now. It's not the main topic of this video, but while you're here, there are some important things to do. Number 1, make sure you're spending your series trophies. They will cut in half for Series 4, so you don't want to miss out on however many you have. Buying the red zone pack is the best deal that you can possibly get. So if you want to use them most efficiently, make sure you're buying the red zone packs and use as many of your Series 3 trophies as you can before the next series drops. Next one is your Mutt Master. As you can see, I'm almost done with this one. Your Series 3 progression, you get 125,000 coins when you complete all 4 of these objectives. Your team tackles, your sacks. I actually did a video going over this. If you guys are interested, I'll link it above, so go ahead and feel free to click on that. But make sure you're getting this done, because if Series 4 drops and you still don't have it done, it'll drop down to 30,000 coins, which is obviously way less than 125,000. So secure that bag. Make sure you're finishing this up before the next series drops. And the next one, of course, your Series 3 multiplayer missions. Just make sure that if you're close to a milestone here, go ahead and finish it off. If you're like 5 wins off, 3 wins off, whatever it is, you don't necessarily need to grind this out, but I do think it could be smart to just if I was at like 72 wins right now, I'd want to make sure that I get to that 75 threshold. So you can find this in the missions tab, the Mutt dedication. Just go and check your Series 3 multiplayer missions and make sure that you're on track or finishing up the closest milestone that you're at. And that's actually going to wrap it up for today's video. Let me know, guys, will you be investing in any of the cards I mentioned in today's video? Comment down below if you think you will be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like rating on the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe to the channel for more Madden 21 content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, thanks for stopping by.